better be good.
Welcome to Keep Live Alive St. Louis. From the very empty but still fabulous Fox Theater, please welcome LERN.
Thank you for joining us on Keep Live Alive St. Louis. We begin our show tonight at one of the most beautiful stages in all of America, the fabulous Fox Theater, right here at Grand Center. As you can see, the stage holds decorations of shows that did not happen, as these seats have been empty since March. Except for that one seat. Is that Rizzuto from the Rizzuto Show on 105.7 The Point? What are you doing way back there?
I couldn't afford better seats.
You know, on any other day, we would be competition, but all of the personalities from 105.7 The Point, KSHE 95, 92.3 WIL, and 106.5 The Arch, along with local celebrities and some of your favorite musicians locally and nationally, are coming together for a common cause.
Hey, St. Louis. This is Michael SUPE GRANDA with the Ozark Mountain Daredevils.
Hello, St. Louis. This is John Badtorf.
Hey, St. Louis, it's Lindsay L.
Kevin Cronin from REO Speedwagon here. I wish I could be there live, man.
Hello, my name is Ryan, and this is Dave and Joe from Jake's Lake. We'd like to welcome you to Keep Live Alive St. Louis.
Whoa, you gotta keep live alive in St. Louis.
We know everybody's been touched by this pandemic that we're going through, but nothing more so than the entertainment industry.
All these people are unemployed. It's, so anything you can do to help, do it.
We are all coming together as a huge team to help out our friends in the live entertainment industry here in St. Louis. You know, if you think about it, March 2020, that is when everybody was furloughed, out of work. They were some of the first to be out of work, honestly, when this pandemic hit. And they may be the last to come back to work once this is all over. So hopefully we have made this experience to donate and help easy and fun. So let's begin the show with a little bit of an inspiration.
day by day. People are getting ready for the new. Some are happy, some are sad. Let the music play. What the people need is the way you make them smile. It ain't so hard to do if you know how. Gotta get them dancing, get it on through. Oh mama, don't ask me why. Can you just do it? Listen, yeah. Oh, listen, yeah. I say, all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time.
Well, that was fantastic. That was great. You know, this is the part where they usually run the commercials at the end of the song, you know, for a bathroom break.
Oh, I don't need a bathroom break. Do you need a bathroom break?
Yeah.
It's streaming, you can pause it.
Okay.
Oh, come on, man. Are you watching it without me?
It's been an entire year now that live entertainment in our nation has been shut down, which means so many people across our hometown have lost their jobs, including musicians and venues, their production crews, truck drivers, stagehands, bartenders, and waiters, and they've all given us so many memorable nights in live music. So Keep Live Alive St. Louis is our love letter to them to tell them how much we appreciate it with this show. My friend and colleague Lux from 105.7 The Point is talking to Pat Hagan from the pageant to tell you more about it. Lux?
It feels so good to be back on the stage at the pageant, a world-renowned venue right here in St. Louis. And I'm joined with the owner, Pat Hagan. Pat, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Lux.
I cannot believe we're back here at the pageant. I have been missing shows so much. The last time I was here was last winter for the Ho-Ho shows. We had 11 of them. Really makes me feel like my home away from home. And there are so many St. Louisans who love coming here for shows and are really missing it. And I know the fans are not the only ones. So tell me a little bit about your employees.
Well, we've got about 50, maybe a little more staff on hand for any busy show. And you would start with the main bar. You've got about 6 bartenders behind the main bar. You've got 4 upstairs in the balcony. You've got 1 on each side, the east and the west. And then we've got a couple more out in the halo. In addition to that, we have probably in the neighborhood of 30 door crew who are working it, with 4 or 5 at the front door, a couple at the dual front door at the west side, and then in the neighborhood of 20 throughout the venue and also a little bit outside. And then you've got 4 wait staff roaming the venue, and then Suite 100, we've got a couple people out there selling coffee and that sort of thing. So, yeah, there's a lot of people.
Sounds like that's the front of the house. But what about those who are backstage?
We have 4 full-time technical employees. We have got a production manager, a front-of-house engineer, a monitor engineer, and then a lighting director at front of house also. In addition to that, we have 4 to 10, sometimes 15 subcontractors serving as stagehands, riggers, spot operators, and then you've got the tour itself, which has anywhere from 5 to 10 people on average on stage, plus a support crew of another 10 to 20, sometimes higher, depending upon the show.
So if you added up all of those employees for a big show here at the pageant, how many staff members would we have here to give St. Louis an incredible night of entertainment?
There's probably, including the artist and all the subcontractors, there's probably in the neighborhood of 90 people.
Coming up, Sammy Hagar remembers.
Please give. Your donation will help all of the members of the entertainment industry in St. Louis. There are so many incredible people who were laid off because of the pandemic.
Stagehands, sound people, bartenders, waitresses, the people that clean up the venues and open the doors, the invisible folks, the engineers, the road crew, all the production, everything has come to a standstill. Folks are hurting out there.
Hi, I'm Bonnie Brownlet. Let's help keep live music alive, yeah?
Kentucky warmth surrounds. Undercurrents of oak and cinnamon stir. Striking spirited chords of vanilla and spiced caramel. It's a bourbon worth playing over again. Turn it up to 99.
When he's good, he's thorough good. When he's bad, he's even better. George Thorogood and the Destroyers' Good to Be Bad Tour. 45 years of rock. September 7th at River City Casino and Hotel.
This is George Thorogood. The Destroyers and I are excited to return to St. Louis on September 7th. Keep listening to KSHE 95 for more details and updates.
George Thorogood and the Destroyers.
Executive producer of Keep Live Alive St. Louis is the St. Louis Classic Rock Preservation Society.
I don't think I've ever done a tour where I didn't stop in St. Louis. Even if I just did a 2-week tour, one of them was in St. Louis. And maybe 2 of them. A lot of times we did multiple nights. I think the most memorable thing that ever happened to me on a show in St. Louis was, I guess it was 79, 80, 81. I did Busch Stadium, the old Busch Stadium, the original one. And I had the song Red, was pretty much a hit. Trans Am was out at the time, so that was 79, I guess, 80. And Journey was on the show, and a couple other bands, I think Head East, I don't really remember. But I came in a car, a guy had a Trans Am, so I borrowed his Trans Am and had a Z28 chase me into the stadium through the back. And behind the stage where you could see, everyone, the whole place could see, we spun circles around, tore up the damn lawn. I think I had to pay for it. And then stopped the car, jumped out of the T-top, ran up on stage, and went into the song Trans Am. And I just remember that by the time I got to the stage, I was so exhausted from what it took to jump out of that car and run about 100 yards, up a ramp, onto the stage, and then all of a sudden there's 44,000 people, and I'm going, I'm out of gas, in the first song, and I'll never forget that.
I keep dreaming
ain't colorblind. We're human race, loves every kind, and sharing takes a whole new meaning. Hi St. Louis, this is Javier Mendoza, aka Hobo Kane. You're watching Keep Live Alive St. Louis. We need all your support, all your donations, whatever you can do to help all these wonderful people that are in the music industry that are right now in need of a lot of help to keep these venues back, get them back so we can come out there and play music for you. Definitely miss playing a lot of these venues like the Old Rock House and, the Duck Room and most recently, the Blue Strawberry and many other venues like the Grandel. So thank you for your donations. We need your support.
Here's a crazy live event story from the past, and St. Louis sure has its share of them. The 1904 World's Fair brought many strains of live entertainment to St. Louis, from cultural dance performances to brass bands to animal shows to 3D slideshows. The weirdest live show, however, could also take the award for the most unusual live show in all of St. Louis history: live babies inside of incubators. That's right, for 25 cents, fairgoers could enter this main attraction on the Pike at the World's Fair and view an average of 25 premature babies inside of working incubators. They learn how the incubators function and watch as nurses and doctors attend to the machines. Afterwards, fairgoers can enjoy a cup of tea in the incubator cafe and even buy a souvenir baby made of soap to remember their eventful experience.
You knew her as Joy in the Morning. Please welcome Joy Gridnick.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's only me. So I'm standing here all alone on the stage of one of my favorite concert venues right here in St. Louis, the Sheldon Concert Hall, in the heart of the Grand Center, just around the corner from the Fox Theater. In a normal year, the Sheldon would host over 350 events with this 700-seat theater, but of course, this is not a normal year. And this is just one of many, many theaters in St. Louis that just remained dark since March of 2020. So let's just take a little quick tour of some of the many grand theaters here in St. Louis to get an idea of the impact the pandemic has had on live entertainment. The Sheldon here, built in 1912, was nicknamed the Carnegie Hall of St. Louis for a reason. Leonard Slatkin once called it one of St. Louis's acoustic and architectural treasures. Because of its near-perfect acoustics, musicians and music lovers alike love this space. But did you know that right here where I'm standing once stood Albert Einstein and Ernest Hemingway? That's right, only really smart, interesting people stand on this spot. Around the corner from here is, of course, the fabulous Fox Theater, where the list of celebrities and prominent figures is even greater. The theater holds 4,500 people. Up the street from here, less than a block away, is Powell Symphony Hall, home to the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra, holding 2,600 seats for music lovers. When the hall was originally built in 1925, it was called the St. Louis Theater, and Carl Stalling, the composer for Looney Tunes, started his career there as an organist. We just went from Albert Einstein to Looney Tunes all in one block. Across the street on the other side of the parking lot is the Sun Theater. That was originally home to all kinds of acts like live German theater, a nightclub, burlesque, vaudeville, even a church. And just up a little bit from there is the Grandel Theater, which was once the church for the First Congressional Church and remained vacant for many years until the Grand Center organization bought it in 1989. So that was just a little quick tour of the many music venues, all within a block of each other right here in the Grand Center. The history of live entertainment in St. Louis goes back many years, and there's 3 guys I know who are old enough to remember the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. Here to talk about it are Ron Stevens, Mark Klose, and Danny Liston.
Were we just called old? No, I think that was you that was called. Yeah. I mean, Mark Klose,
Danny Liston, both of you, thank you for doing this. It's not easy finding two old guys that'll sit together and talk sometimes.
We're having dinner at 4 o'clock and then Wheel of Fortune after.
I love
the pot roast. So do I. Tapioca.
So welcome to OK Boomer with Ron Stevens. No. We're at the very beautiful Lincoln Theater in Belleville, Illinois.
Very beautiful.
And we're
gorgeous,
very grateful
gorgeous, yeah.
to the owner for letting us use it.
Thank you.
70s, 80s, you were in Mama's Pride. You were playing a bunch of clubs in St. Louis and elsewhere. Mark Klose, you were a disc jockey at KSHE. I was a DJ at KSHE.
Yep.
We used to appear at all these places. Somebody told me that the very first personal appearance you did was at Grandma's house in Pacific.
Yes, I was giving records away. I got down, I had 1 LP to give away, and I had 2 winners, and I couldn't do it. So I ripped it in half and gave each of them half. And believe me, it probably sounded better than it did when it was whole, because I'm sure it was a terrible record.
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody still has at least one of those halves.
I would hope so.
On a wall somewhere.
That's it, collectible.
What amazes me, Danny, is it seems like Mama's Pride was playing 7 nights a week throughout St. Louis for about a decade. You guys played everywhere.
You name it, we played it.
You played a lot at Mississippi Nights?
Yes.
You were
played at Mississippi Nights before it was Mississippi Nights.
And what was it then?
The River Rat. The River Rat. Ellis Salem. Ellis Salem was the one that introduced us to the. He brought the Outlaws in. He brought Grinder Switch in. And I mean, he didn't have 3 chairs that matched in that whole place. And the room never sounded better than when Ellis Salem had it. I still remember getting in a streetcar and taking it down. That's a shot at you for how old you are. Actually, it was a stagecoach. I get in a stagecoach and ride down to Rusty Springs. But these, I mean, they were there all the time. And again, it was always.
And when we weren't, I was.
That's right.
That was my watering hole. People would go,
you know, it's funny. I see a different band here every night, but they got the same lead singer. He was just hanging. But I mean, they were there all the time, and it was always a crowd. And then, like the Granary over in Illinois, when they changed the law to 19 in Illinois, that you could drink wine and beer. You remember that was, I don't remember what year it was, but all I know, man, so now you're 19, but really you're 17 because you got a fake ID. So you're probably closer to 14 years old, and you're drinking over at the Granary. Terry Weir from 4th and Pine, which I remember, I mean, that was the place for a long, long time. You and Joy did your comedy routine there one time. I remember introing you guys
But
years
remember
ago.
that stage was high.
Yes.
And they didn't have seats for everyone. It was a club, right?
Right.
It was the only time in our life we did a 1-hour comedy show to a standing audience.
Yeah.
It was so strange.
and they had the longest bar.
Yes, they
Remember
did.
how long
Yeah, the
that
bar
bar
just
was?
went,
Like
yeah.
62 feet or
Yeah,
something like
yeah. Animal House over on
Where was that?
40 and Hanley.
Okay.
And they used to do a deal on Friday afternoons, all you can drink frozen daiquiris for $5. And when I did that, again, I didn't drink.
You drank daiquiris?
No, but they paid me and I showed up. You know better than that. And I mean, it was like from 4 to 7, all you can drink frozen. And the guys, you know, are having brain freezes, but they're just knocking, for $5 now.
Find another one like that. Dirty Nellies.
Oh, yeah.
What was
North?
it? The Barn.
Yeah.
The Barn became Dirty Nellies.
Dirty Nellies, the best part is that for a long time, they had a DJ system. And it was 2 turntables that were hung from the ceiling with chains. So you'd be doing music and somebody would come up and hit it and you're they're literally swinging back and forth. You're going, who set this up?
How about Billy Goat Hill?
Carl Hoffman, and what was his dad's name?
They were on Shodo, right?
Yep. Had an original Brunswick triple arch back bar.
Wow.
That back bar was probably, I mean, literally worth more than that whole building.
Yeah.
When Pat left the band and when he started the Flaming Phlegmatics, he had gone a long time without performing. He'd gone a long time with no audience and he missed the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote a song about it called Together Again Tonight. They were booked at Mississippi Nights. So that was over 30 years ago. Right. And they were doing a sound check and somebody set up a video camera. Now imagine it's mid-80s and what the video looked like.
Probably Jimmy Tidwell.
Yeah.
But here it is. We're looking at it right now. That's it. The the sound check was over and everybody walked off the stage and he sat down to his keyboard and started playing Together Again Tonight. And I had come across that when we were doing the KSHE documentary and never forgot it.
Yeah.
And the song is actually, it's actually a love song to the audience that he misses.
Right.
So I asked him to do that for this special because it's so appropriate.
Fitting, yeah.
So let's watch it. This is Pat Liston doing Together Again Tonight.
Hello, my friends, it's me again. I guess you're wondering where I've been. At least I hope so, anyway. As time goes by, it seems to fly. No one's able to tell us why. The plans we'd made never quite worked out. I never meant to hurt anybody or make you think I just did not care. But let's just forget our goodbyes and how quickly time flies. Because my friends, we're together again tonight. Seems so strange how things have changed and how my life's been so rearranged and how you seem to still be on my mind, yeah. Now I can't disguise my teary eyes, but still in all I recognize that things just had to change, yeah. Now talking about yesterday can be so senseless, 'cause you know you'll never pass that way again. But let's just forget our goodbyes and how quickly time flies. Because my friends, we're together again tonight. Now I reached for fame and lost the game. Can't really say who was to blame. I guess it was just not meant to be, no. So here we are, no one's a star, but I can play my piano and some guitar and sing for you a song from days gone by. I can sing for you a pretty love song, and maybe you could add a harmony. But right now, let's just forget our goodbyes and how quickly time flies. Because my friends, we're together again tonight. Let's forget our goodbyes and how quickly time flies. Because 'cause my friends were together again, yeah, tonight. Yeah, we are just like before, together again.
Coming up, Kevin Cronin, Unplugged and Unhinged.
You know, I had to think, there's been a lot of gigs over the last almost 50 years. But I think the weirdest gig I ever did was with James Lee Stanley about 8 years ago. We got asked to play at a black tie event in Worley, Idaho. But it was at a nudist resort. And we figured, well, it's winter. People have to have their clothes on in the wintertime. But we found out that the venue was going to be at 85 degrees, so no one had clothes on, just me and James. And they did tell us that it was optional for the band to wear clothes or not. And we said, well, we wanted to make sure people knew who the band was. So we wore clothes. So, you know, the gig was okay. We got introduced by a naked guy. A lot of hair on his back. Haven't really seen that before. And so we did the show, and the venue was dark, and we couldn't really see the people, which was probably a good thing, because the thing about, if you ever get nervous on stage, just picture the audience being naked. Well, that really isn't true. So we did the whole show, and it was really great. They really loved what we did. And at the end, they turned on the lights in the venue because we were getting a standing ovation, which was pretty frightening, actually. You know, it just doesn't happen every day. So we thought, well, you know, they loved us. We're probably going to sell some CDs. So we went over to the merch table, which for some reason was a very low merch table. And all these naked people were coming over to the table to look at the CDs. And my first thought was, where the hell do they keep the money?
Hi, it's Greg Warren, and you are watching Keep Live Alive St. Louis. And if you could, if you got a little extra cash, and I know a lot of you don't, but if you do, go to keeplivealivestl.org, and you'll help out some really talented people. We really would appreciate it.
From the RIZZUTO Show on 105.7 The Point, here's RIZZUTO.
Behind me is the stage of the biggest musical outdoor theater in all of America. Now, when I say musical, I mean musicals. This is the Muni at Forest Park. And if you could see or maybe even hear, they got some pretty major renovations going on. But they do promise to be ready by the time the season is supposed to open in July, should COVID allow it. The St. Louis Municipal Opera Theater has 11,000 seats. I mean, look at that.
As RIZZUTO pointed out, the Muni holds around 11,000 people on any given night of a summer performance. But on August 14th, 1972, there were around 9,000 seats filled for the opening night of Cole Porter's Anything Goes When Tragedy Struck. The Hollywood musical star, Ann Miller, the star of that night's performance, had been grazed by one of the scene-changing steel booms. The assistant manager of the Muni walked out on stage and asked that familiar question, is there a doctor in the house? Even with 9,000 people in the audience, there was a doctor in the house. Actually, 15 doctors came forward. If we don't count medical conventions, that might have been the largest gathering of doctors at a live performance in St. Louis.
This past summer, 2020, was the first time in 102 years the entire season here at the Muni was dark. Let's hope that doesn't happen again.
We have year-round, we have a full-time staff of 35 people, and then once we get to the season, that balloons pretty much overnight from 35 to about 600, depending on the season. If you just think of what it takes to make a facility like this size run, to produce productions on the scale that we do, and to take care of the number of people that come out to a show every night. It takes that many people and probably and then some, depending on the season. And so the effect of this has been felt across the board, truly, but the burden of it is most heavily on those individuals who work seasonally in this entertainment industry. They don't just work here, or they work in different venues, different concert venues, different places across the community. And the thing that is uniform about all of this is that they have lost that work everywhere.
Somewhere in the Del Mar Loop, there's a lady wandering the streets. It's right, she's harmless. I compete with her every morning. Not on the sidewalks, but on the radio. I'm talking about Courtney Landrum, star of The Courtney Show on 106.5 The Arch, and she's going to take us on a walk through history, some of the famous St. Louis people who worked in live entertainment. Take it away, Courtney.
Okay, here's one. This must be one of the early ones. I mean, it's pretty sad. I've been down to the Del Mar Loop a million times, but I never really look around. The Fifth Dimension. 3 of the guys from the Fifth Dimension from St. Louis.
So that is actually just 3/5 dimension. I did the math.
It's gonna be really difficult for me not to sing during this because Up, Up, and Away, how do you not sing? How do you just say Up, Up, and Away? And of course, the great Marilyn McCoo joined the band later, but the 3 guys from St. Louis, the Fifth Dimension, Aquarius, I mean, they had so many hits. And right here, right in front of the pageant, is their star on the St. Louis Walk of Fame. Oh wow, Tina Turner. Now, that's incredible. She had 3 different careers if you think about Tina Turner. I mean, from when she started, when she moved to St. Louis when she was 16 and joined Ike Turner, and then went out on her own. What's Love Got to Do with It? Grammy Awards, hit movie. I mean, so many careers for Tina Turner, and it all started right here in St. Louis. Chuck Berry. If you get down to it, oh, my knees just cracked, hold on. And here, Chuck Berry, hailed as the father of rock and roll. So if you get right down to it, Chuck Berry, St. Louis created rock and roll for so many people. St. Louis's favorite son, Chuck Berry. I don't think anybody says St. Louis more and St. Louis music more than Chuck Berry.
Call me rain, 'cause I roll just like thunder.
Oh, look what's on at the Tivoli. Nothing.
She called me rain. She called me rain.
Oh man, Phyllis Diller. I actually got to meet Phyllis Diller once, and she was incredible. She took her wig off in the studio for us. And the interesting thing about Phyllis Diller, she actually wasn't born in St. Louis. She came to St. Louis in the 60s to do a 2-week gig to hone her comedy skills. She ended up staying in St. Louis 89 weeks, almost 2 years, because St. Louis was such a hub for live music, live acts, and entertainment. And that's why Phyllis Diller, she learned everything in St. Louis. Oh yeah, Cornell Haynes Jr., better known as Nelly. Most recently, Dancing with the Stars star, Nelly. And in 2000, from University City, Country Grammar, his debut album, he sold 9 million copies. He's done country music with Tim McGraw. He's hip hop. The guy is everywhere, and he's on fire. And Nelly, proud St. Louisan. And you know, of course, Nelly's star is right in front of Blueberry Hill, and that's where Joe Edwards is with our own Donny Fandango. Let's send it to Donny.
Hey, thank you very much, Courtney. We are here at Blueberry Hill with the legend that is Joe Edwards. And what's amazing, as we're here in the sort of Walk of Fame, is all of the amazing artists that at one time or the other have stopped through St. Louis, some part here on the Del Mar Loop. Let's talk about an absolute rock and roll legend here, Mr. Robert Plant. What about that?
Yes, that one was taken at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony, but my favorite picture of me and Robert Plant is down the wall there, because we had spent an afternoon right here at Blueberry Hill and just talking about things, and then he was so fascinated with the loop and the resurgence of the loop and the music influence that supplied the loop's regeneration, basically. And the photo I'm so proud of, we were walking down the street in the Tivoli movie theater, sign, the vertical sign is in the background of that one. And it just shows, yeah, that happened. He was right here in Delmar, he was right here at Blueberry Hill, and all his fans just adore him.
And I think it's amazing, Joe, that you can be one of the very few people in this world that can say, oh, but this isn't my favorite picture with Robert Plant. I've got a better one. I think that's amazing. I just want you to walk down the hall, all right? And there's so many of these great pictures, and I'm sure some cool ones that I'm missing. Just walk down the hall and just point to some amazing pictures and some amazing people that have been through our town.
I'd be happy to.
All right.
This is so much fun. Janelle Monáe, Ronald Isley of the Isley Brothers, Albert King, along with Chuck Berry, Dexter Holland, President Joe Biden, David Byrne, the Go-Go's, Ed Sheeran performed at Blueberry Hill, Nelly Furtado, Bo Diddley, LL Cool J, Aretha Franklin, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Joe Perry of Aerosmith, Lil Kim, 50 Cent, Willie Nelson, Morris Day of The Time, John Lee Hooker, Joan Jett, Ike Turner, Oliver Sane, and Little Milton Campbell, Bob Dylan, Outkast, Judas Priest, Keith Richards, Elvis Costello, Peter Wolf, Sean Colvin, Paul Simon, Leonard Cohen, Chuck Berry, Keith Richards again in that photo. Whoa, Queens of the Stone Age, Sheryl Crow, Tina Turner, Fall Out Boy, the Black Crowes, Billy Joe Armstrong, amazing. Martha Reeves of Martha and the Vandellas, Darius Rucker, Leon Russell, Kanye West.
You know, I'm friends with most of these people, so, okay.
Facebook does not count.
Yeah, it does.
You know, Joe, I gotta tell you, just from a guy that grew up in St. Louis, I had my first experience meeting a band at Blueberry Hill. I helped them bring their gear in, and I thought it was the coolest day of my life. And I just really want to thank you as a St. Louisan and a music lover for keeping places like this alive so that we can see great local talent, national talent. As you say, that live music is such a huge part of my life, and I cannot wait to get back to it. But thank you for having us out here today at Blueberry Hill.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it. Our friend Joe Edwards in St. Louis, we thank you for keeping live alive in St. Louis.
Hey, it's just me, Paula Poundstone. I want to thank you so much for helping keep Live alive, and I cannot wait to see you in St. Louis at the Sheldon Concert Hall on Friday, August 13th. So, they asked me what I've been doing all this time. Well, I don't think I've been alone too long. Oh. There's my cat, Theo. Mostly I've just been, I don't know, playing the game of life. Here we go. Okay. Oh. Suffer a global pandemic. Oh, that's terrible. Well, go. It's your turn. Would you go? Hold on. Here we go. Live with 9 cats and 2 big dogs. Spend most of your life cleaning animal waste. Well, that's not nearly as bad as the other one.
Yo, what up? It's your man Nelly. I hope y'all enjoying the Keep Live Alive special right now. I don't know what's holding you up, but make sure you get to your phones. Make sure you donate right now. Help keep the people who make the greatest concerts in St. Louis happen. Keep these folks on the up and up, all right? So show your love, show your support. Keep Live Alive. Holla.
When I was on the road with Brad Paisley, he is the ultimate prankster. He is so good at tour pranks. You always know the last show of your tour. you're kind of watching your back left and right because you never know what's gonna happen. And I will say, Brad pulled a couple good pranks on me. I have a song called Criminal, and him and his whole crew built this pink jail around my mic stand while I was singing Criminal. And then a few members of their crew, one dressed up as a criminal and the other one dressed up as a police officer. And they were chasing each other on stage while you're singing. Like, I think the object of a prank is just to make somebody, you know, break their you know, their show. And so I got Brad back though. He of course has a song called Mud on the Tires, and so I bought one of those little toddler trucks that goes like a half a mile an hour. They go so slow, it goes like, and so I come out, Mud on the Tire starts, it's like, and then here I come out side stage and I'm just like, I come out so slow. And everybody starts like laughing and sort of reacting to me. And then I finally just run into Brad's feet and he like kind of jumps and starts laughing, and I made him miss 2 lines of the song. And that is always the goal with a tour prank. And so for the rest of the song, he was like kicking my little truck around stage. And on the back of it, I wrote a sign that said, "Got mud?" ?
Without the awesome rock fans of St. Louis, the amazing radio stations, KSHE Real Rock Radio, of course, and all the venues around town, we wouldn't have made it, man. It was the people of St. Louis who took us into their hearts and souls and gave us the confidence we needed to keep going. Keep trying all over the country. But it was St. Louis, man. It was you all that brought us into your lives first, and we will never forget that. Man, I've got so many memories of St. Louis. The first real gig I ever played with REO Speedwagon was at the Kiel Auditorium. And we had an opening act that night back in 1976. Who loaded in with these brand new, spotless road cases, and we're thinking to ourselves, man, who are these jokers? Turns out it was the first tour for a band called Boston. They've done all right since. Then a couple of years later in '78, we came in and headlined an all-day festival at Busch Stadium, sold the place out. It was incredible. On the High Infidelity tour in '81, we did 2 sold-out nights at the Checker Dome, and God, that just felt so good. Then through the '90s and the 2000s, we did a number of amazing shows out at Riverport. Probably the most memorable was the Arch Allies tour that we did with our good friends in Styx. We recorded a live album and DVD that night. And man, there's also the small venues like Mississippi Nights, man. I remember I went in there one night and saw the first tour of a young band called the Black Crowes, man. They tore it up that night. And we partied pretty hard, if I remember. But the first song of mine that ever got played on the radio came on KSHE back in 1976, and its message is pretty apropos for what we're all going through right now, because you know, we all got to keep pushing. I used to be lonely till I learned about living alone. I found other things to keep my mind on, and I'm getting to know myself a little bit better. Oh yeah. Whoa, I keep pushing on. I keep pushing on, yeah. Going through all the changes, I made so many mistakes. Oh yes I did. Trying to leave behind the heartaches. And sometimes I think I was a little bit crazy, but we all get a little bit crazy now, don't we?
Whoa, I keep pushing on. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. I'm gonna keep pushing on, keep pushing, keep pushing. You know you've got to be so strong. Keep pushing, keep pushing. Even if you think your strength is gone. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing on. Oh, yeah. Woo! Everybody's got to keep on pushing. That's what you got to do, St. Louis. Keep pushing. Stay strong. We'll be back. We miss you guys. We love you guys. Send in a little money to help our people out. And live music will return to St. Louis, baby. I promise. Woo! Keep pushing, baby. Woo!
If you work in the live entertainment industry in the St. Louis region and have suffered financially due to the pandemic, you can apply for a $1,000 grant. Go to keeplivealivestl.org and click on Grant Application. This is not a loan. It's a grant to help you pay some bills. With love from your fans.
You know, it is pretty amazing that little old St. Lou has been such a massive hub for live entertainment. And honestly, that's because of people like you. You and I, we love going to live shows in this gorgeous city. And you know, it used to not be so easy. Right now, you can pick a show, buy the ticket, know exactly how to do everything all on one app. Back in the 70s, it was like way more complicated. For reference, here are my friends, Stevens and Gridnick.
Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we go to a concert this weekend? When's the last time we've been to a good concert?
Oh, okay.
Ah, look at this at the Checkerdome this Friday night. 3 great acts.
Well, I don't get off work until 7, so we probably won't get there till 8. Who's on first?
Yes.
No, who?
Yes.
Who?
Yes.
Who's on first?
No, who's on second?
I didn't ask who's on second. Who's on first?
Yes.
Who?
Yes.
I'm asking you, who's on first?
I'm telling you, who's on second?
What's the name of the band who plays first?
Yes.
So if we show up at 7:30, who will be performing?
No.
Then what band will be on stage?
Yes.
Okay, you said there were 3 bands. What is the name of the 3rd band?
Guess who?
I don't want to guess who. Tell me the name of the band playing 3rd.
It's the Guess Who.
Oh, okay. Yes is on first, who is on second, and guess who is on 3rd. They have that great bass player. What's his name?
No, what's the name of the drummer?
There was a promoter in St. Louis, Irv Zuckerman from Contemporary, and I think we all know Irv and the boys. And whenever you would sell out, he would throw this big lobster feast for you, like shrimp and shellfish and scallops and lobsters raw, just big giant raw bar, and then he'd cook them, and you would just have this big shellfish feast. Well, little did I know that shellfish is the worst thing for a singer if you have any kind of allergy. I don't have allergy to shellfish, but if you eat enough of it, your throat swells up and you just feel like you got laryngitis. And of course, I would eat a ton of it. So then, you know, anytime you sell out one night in St. Louis, I would sell out 2 or 3 nights. So the second night, when I started doing 2 nights at the Checkerdome, I found that I couldn't sing the next day. And I'd always have to go to the doctor. I would sit there and they'd stuff stuff down my nose and spray stuff. So I used to say that I did some of my worst shows in my life in St. Louis, the biggest town in the world for me, you know, and I would be like, oh my God, I can't sing, you know, I can't believe this. And it was because I ate the damn shellfish. And Irv did it for everybody. I don't know how many other people experienced that, but I just remember when I finally found out that you know, shellfish, red wine, certain tannins are bad for singers, but nothing like shellfish, like when you overdo it. And I don't know why, but I still kept my fans in St. Louis going out there, you know, the second night without being able to sing. I mean, every year it seemed like it would happen. But the fans, you know, I would just go, you know, it's gonna be a, and they say every word. So got me off the hook pretty good, but thank you, St. Louis, for that.
St. Louis has always been real good to the Daredevils. As we played for the last 50 years, played the Graham Chapel. We played the Washington U Quadrangle a few times, which is very cool.
You know, I started my career in 1971 and toured with Bread. And I know we went to Kiel Auditorium, and that's where it all started.
Fox Theater, Kiel Auditorium and Opry House.
I remember playing the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater with Mr. Brad Paisley himself. I remember playing also, again, the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater with Brantley Gilbert.
Mississippi River Festival, Mississippi Nights.
I've been at the Focal Point several times. And Wildwood Springs Lodge. Last time I played there was in 2019 with Brewer and Shipley.
And of course, the illustrious Checker Dome.
So because of the pandemic, you can't go to the gym or whatever. So I started like going up to Kirkwood Park and doing sit-ups in the park, which, you know, I'm 52. You just feel like I don't know, it's a vulnerable exercise. You're on your back like a turtle, you know. So I'm doing these sit-ups and this group of middle school girls like rides by on their bikes, and one of them starts counting my sit-ups out loud. It was just humiliating. You know, I don't know why, but it was like she knew what she was doing. Like she wasn't practicing her numbers. It was like laugh counting. You know, she was like 1, 2, 3. She was bullying me. You know, she was bullying me. And the thing was, like, she started counting when I had already been doing a lot of sit-ups. You know, she's like 1. I'm like 21, Meredith. You know, you want to get this right?
Hello, St. Louis. Greg Bishop here, musician.
Hi, I'm Laurie McConnell.
And I'm Alan Knoll.
And we are 2 unemployed actors.
Let me illustrate. Okay, I'm a drummer.
This is Tim Albert, Technical Director of the Sheldon Concert Hall in St. Louis.
Thank you so much for watching Keep Live Alive St. Louis.
And if you want to donate, please, you can donate right now.
You don't have to wait.
No, you don't have to wait. You can do it right now at keeplivealivestl.org.
Thank you for supporting Keep Live Alive St. Louis.
In my 50 years, I have discovered one thing. This is not a place to make money.
Being in a large crowd nowadays is a rare occurrence, but before the days of COVID, St. Louis was no stranger to large gatherings. In 2015, America Center and the Grand Renaissance Hotel in St. Louis hosted the nation's largest gathering of historians, and the 2008 Obama rally in St. Louis was his largest in the nation. But the live event that drew the most attendees in St. Louis was one of divine proportions. The live mass with Pope John Paul II at America Center in 1999 had 110,000 attendees.
We followed the auto show. They had their, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We were on a Tuesday. We had from Sunday at 6 o'clock to Tuesday at, 6 a.m. when people started arriving, to change the dome into the altar, the stage, the arch, and the seating for 110,000 people. That's what we had there. Because we had all 5 exhibit halls and the dome, 110,000 people. We know the exact number. We counted them because they all had to go through the megatometer. So here we are doing this large event with all these things going against us, including when I was asked, how are you going to get 110,000 people before 9 o'clock at the dome? Well, that's a big question. So the first thing I do is I call my friend, Ida Woolfolk, who's passed, she's not with us any longer, who works for the superintendent of public schools. Ida, what's going on with school? It's a Tuesday, Wednesday, I believe. She says, well, the superintendent wants to have school. Ida, you got to go back to him. Here's a chance for all these kids in the public schools to stand on Lindell or stand on Olive and witness the Pope, the largest person in the world is coming to our town, and they're going to be watching him on a TV in their classroom. Steve, I'll get back to you. She gets back to me within 24 hours. I needed to get back to me sooner. She says, he decided to close school. I said, that's great. Who's your bus company? She says, why? I said, I need buses to move 110,000 people. I was able to move 110,000 people from casinos on both sides of the river, from shopping centers starting at 4 o'clock in the morning to the Dome and have them all in there by 9 o'clock in the morning.
St. Louis, this is Andre Cataldo of Dear Genre. I just wanted to take a second to encourage you to donate to Keep Live Alive St. Louis. Without the dedicated professionals who produce and help bring us live music, our city just wouldn't be what it is today.
KSHE 95 and Forefront Dermatology are teaming up to raise money for Keep Live Alive St. Louis. Get to KSHE95.com and pre-order the limited edition Sweet Meat Keep Live Alive t-shirt. Keep Live Alive St. Louis. Get your shirt now and help at KSHE95.com.
I was scared.
I was scared to death.
Scared to death. Nobody had experience doing this.
Most of the announcers from KSHE didn't come from the broadcast center. They didn't come up with the radio stations. They came from high school.
Even worse, Shelley Grafman had no experience in radio. So by the early 1970s, we had an entire staff on air with no radio experience at all.
Never say goodbye. I can tell a lie.
From KSHE 95, here's John Hewlett.
Well, one morning, the police came to the radio station to do an interview. This was 78, 79, I think, one of those 2 years. Anyway, we had a great interview. We had a great time on the air. This was the first time they had come to St. Louis, so there was a lot of excitement about the band, and they were playing at Stages, which was a small little nightclub bar over in Illinois. So I go to the show and I introduce the band on stage, and the crowd is, very excited, and they put on a heck of a show. So I could have left at some point during the show, but I said, I'll just stick around and thank Sting again and those guys for coming into the radio station that morning. So in order for the band to get to the locker room after the dressing room after the show, they had to walk through the crowd, and I knew that. So I was waiting in the back for them to come off stage, and here comes Sting, and he comes walking up to me, and I said, hey, Sting, John, I had you at the radio station this morning. Thanks again for doing the interview. And he interrupts me, and he goes, man, there is a hot-looking chick checking you out right now, right behind you. Initially I'm like, well, so what? But okay, I'll humor him. I turned around like that to see what he was talking about, and I turned back, and he was gone. So he just blew me off right there on the spot. It was embarrassing, but, it's a good memory.
We need chairs like that.
Absolutely. But bigger.
Definitely bigger.
We need salaries like his, too.
Bigger.
In a minute, we're going to head out to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Well, you are. I'm going to stay right here. Thank you.
We need to remember that for renegotiation.
Now let's take it out to FAVAZZ at Riverport.
Well, here I am on one of the most recognizable stages in St. Louis, the stage at the Riverport Amphitheater. But really, it's the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. And for all of those shows that have been here throughout the years, it would take forever for us to list them all. But we remember July 2nd, 1991, don't we? I know I do. It was the Guns N' Roses show. It was the Riot show. I was here. I was right down there. And do you remember who opened this place up? Back just a few weeks earlier than that, June 14th, 1991, Steve Winwood. And this June, Riverport, or Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, they're going to celebrate their 30th anniversary here. And so much of my work life, my personal life has been spent here watching local shows, national shows, just great shows, along with 20,000 other people. But it's empty right now. And we haven't been here in over a year or so. And we don't know when we're going to come back. And the people that work here, they don't know exactly when they're going to come back either. And the same can be said for those that work in the live entertainment industry in St. Louis. Here are some of their stories.
Hi, I am just a lowly stagehand, but this is my backyard and this is what is my favorite pastime, passion, whatever you want to call it. But I'm one of at least 350 stagehands local here in St. Louis that works this venue, Busch Stadium, Enterprise Center, all the big events where there's live music. And we've got so many different jobs that we do. People don't realize what it takes to put on a show.
You do a typical show. Let's go to Riverport Amphitheater, 1991. Call it any show. Let's say Axl Rose, Guns N' Roses. That was a good show. But it could be any show. But let's take that show. So not only do you have the band, you got Slash, you got, Axl in the group. You got the crew that they travel with. So let's call that 50 people. I mean, you got 7 semis, you got sound, you got lights. They brought in a thrust stage. That's how we call it an ego stage, so he could be 5th row center with the public, which makes it easier for him to see everybody. But I mean, you have trucks, you have truck drivers, you have stagehands, you have techs. You have the guys that come locally from St. Louis, spot ops. You have 4 spot operators. You have another 25 people in the crews locally that push the equipment from the truck in and from the stage out. That night, a few of the things on the stage went out the front door as opposed to the back door. But the point of the matter is, there's a lot of people that come with the tour now, and the people then locally that have to work. And how about the 150 people working at Riverport that night? Concessions. You had security, 80 security. You had our own techs that have to be there. You have an electrician. You have the people working maintenance. You had to cut the grass that day. Concession stands. You're talking about hundreds of people for one show on one day. And that's just the local people.
The amount of staffing that goes into any kind of concert date, I don't care where it is, be it Busch Stadium or Del Mar Hall, the checklist is the same. There may be more people involved, but the checklist is still the same.
And when the show is over, we have to do everything in reverse. So the back line goes in the truck first, and then the lighting, and then the audio in the front of the house, and it all goes right back in to each truck, each spot, wherever it's supposed to be, wherever it's designated. And then they pack up and go to the next town.
Well, now let's go out to LA. He's got a manager, he's got a road manager, he's got an accountant, he's got a business manager, he has an agent. Everybody loses. So any one date, and then you gotta realize he's gonna do 80 dates. Any artist is gonna do 80 dates at least. Some do more. Some do less, but some do more. So devastation would be an underestimation of what has happened to the business.
Before I got into music full time, I was doing offshore work in the Gulf of Mexico mostly, from 18 years old till about 30. And I was also doing booking for, I would say, 5 different venues, as well as like doing open mics and helping people getting into the industry and giving them that door open that maybe I didn't really get to have when I was starting out.
I've been in this business for 20 years. I just celebrated my 20-year anniversary. I added live entertainment 18 years ago. And a lot of the musicians I see, some of them only has 3 gigs this month. Some don't have any. Some hasn't made a dime this year. I have been struggling horribly since March. I mean, by the grace of God, I do have people that have been coming in and buying my t-shirts and stuff that a friend of mine started making for me. And then my buddy Sammy, Sam Bam, that lives out in LA, set up a GoFundMe page. And if it wouldn't have been for that, I would have already closed my door. There's no way I would have been able to reopen the second time.
Well, I've been on the music scene for about 30 years here in St. Louis. Most of my music engagements were related to the restaurant bar industry, so that's all gone. Whether it was my sole income or not, I've been a steady player all along. I've taught music lessons and started a rock and roll music school for kids back in the early 2000s. So I've been doing a lot of music-related activities for over 3 decades here in St. Louis. We played events all around, all through the year. Big, multi-band festivals at the Old Rock House, Del Mar Hall, as well as small venues like Evangeline's. The Atomic Cowboy is another place. The Dark Room is a great jazz venue here in town. It's all just, everything is just fallen apart. And so many people have lost their entire income stream. I feel fortunate that I have this day job. I have been able to really stay doing what I'm doing, but musically, it's all been taken away. But some people, that's their entire livelihood.
It's gotten so bad. I actually know some musicians that have begun selling some of their gear.
I'm a guitar collector. I have a passion for guitars. And how I've been making it through, because I have no work, I've been selling my collection off. And it kills me every time I have to sell something that I work so hard to get and that I love so much.
Our instruments are like our kids, so, for people to be selling them, that's got to be heartbreaking for them. But, just have to try to do whatever you can to keep food coming in.
I really want this to get over because I don't want to sell any more of my collection.
I think Corona, and you make me sick. I say Corona, and you make me sick. I'm quarantined, I'm all alone. All I do is moan.
End of 2018, I debuted my band at the National Blues Museum. And then that went into 2019, and the shows were popping, and people were becoming more familiar with who Lady J Huston is, and I do it my tribute to Mr. Albert King, who I used to tour with. And so when 2019 came, more shows were coming in, and this one club, we just had the whole parking lot packed, the whole room was packed, and the pay scale was going up. Okay, so then all these musicians that I had contracted with me, I had to say we couldn't do these gigs now, and the agents were calling me and saying, I'm so sorry, and I'm sorry for the agents because they lost their commission. I'm sorry for the venues because they lost the money that was coming in from us being there. So it's just a rolling effect, going straight downhill.
People were the ones who were complaining about not getting to go to the shows, don't realize it's not that hurts, of course, but this is our job. Some of it is our livelihood, regardless if we do it part-time or not. It's what we do. We love doing it. It's all about the music. But the fact that we can't even do that, we can't just get up and, throw a shirt on and go to the amphitheater or go to Busch Stadium or whatever and load stuff in and, put these shows up, which is really a horrible feeling that we won't get to do this stuff.
Well, how does it feel when it's hitting close to home? No time left to steal. Last time to walk alone, I never pictured you to put it on the line. When your back's against the wall, facing time. Empty plates of gold, buried fork in the road. Don't care where it goes. You don't care anymore. tell you to put it on the line. When your back's against the wall, facing time. Yes, who am I to tell you to put it on the line? When your back's against the wall, facing time. Who am I to tell you to put it on the line? When your back's against the wall, facing time.
Hi, George Weber. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. I also hope that Keep Live Alive St. Louis has given you an appreciation for live entertainment of all sorts. But as a nod to live rock and roll shows, let's go with something now that almost every rock show has, a drum solo. So sit back and enjoy, or like a lot of people do during drum solos, head to the restroom. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mr. Mark Klose.
Guys, I'm Alexandra Kay. Thank you so much for having me be a part of such an incredible project. I'm so happy to be a part of it. It's been a really crazy year for all of us. I know not just people in the music industry, but people in hospitality and entertainment all across the board have felt it.
As a longtime concert promoter, I can tell you that there are a tremendous number of people who make the shows happen in this town that are out of work and have been out of work for over a year now due to the pandemic.
Hey, this is Mark Quinn. Please support Keep Live Alive St. Louis.
Go to keeplivealivestl.org and make a contribution.
Coming up, comedian Joe Marlotti.
Which shirt? This one or this one?
Which one?
In a minute.
I sort of made this rule for myself, like, if I'm doing any stand-up in town or out of town, I'm gonna get tested that week. So I feel like, hey, if I'm gonna do that, I need to make sure that I'm not positive. So I go get tested like every week. I would go early on, and you know, they test me and they put the thing up your nose, you know, one nostril, and then the guy like started doing two nostrils, you know, and then I was like, okay, I guess that's how we do it, you know, and then I go back and they do one nostril. I'm like, are you gonna do the other nostril? And they're like, no. Now I look like just some freak who likes stuff shoved up his nose or whatever. So like, I think they're getting bored. I honestly think they're like, let's go two nostrils, just see if we can get away with it. I mean, eventually, you know, he's like, have him stand on his head. I bet you I can get him to stand on his head. How do I look? Should I button this up? Should I? March 13th, I'm on the Lido deck of the Carnival Fascination, right? March 14th, I'm home without any future. Things are going good. I used to go to a ton of concerts when I was younger. As a matter of fact, when we had our first child, I remember all my friends going, "There's Joe's last Lollapalooza." And I mean, I used to go to a ton of concerts when I was younger. And now that I'm older, my wife and I, we don't go to as many. But now that we can't go, we miss them so much. I've seen a lot of great shows. You know, I've seen Elvis Costello a million times. I used to love Elvis Costello. I used to love, saw him at the pageant a few times. Actually met him backstage. I've opened for quite a few people over the years. I have literally opened for both Tom Jones and Engelbert Humperdinck. Stay seated, everybody. Oh, there's nobody here. You can't learn your chops in front of a mirror, you know, telling jokes. You gotta have the audience. You gotta have them here. You gotta be able to interact with them. You gotta be able, in my case, to hear the silence when you tell a joke. There are people that I've known for years that work here. I mean, people like Patty, the waitress, and Sean, the bartender / comedian, he thinks. And Matt, the manager. I've known these people for a million years. They're just sitting at home right now, just, you know, putting endless pictures of puppies on Facebook. Hey everybody, Joe Marlotti, professional comedian, reminding you to go to keeplivealivestl.org and donate, okay? Make some people happy, because after this is over, we're gonna make you happy. I mean, for the proper cover chart.
Hey, this is Rusty Yanmapoko, and you're watching Keep Live Alive in St. Louis. And on behalf of everyone working in live entertainment in St. Louis, we want to thank you, all right? It happens all the time. Wrong chord.
Hey there, I'm Paul Cook. I've been following this dynamic young artist for years, and Alexandra Kay just keeps getting better. In 2020, she put out the single Dive Bar Dreamer, and it has taken on new meaning for us during the pandemic. We are dedicating this to all the great St. Louis area bars who have supported live entertainment over the years. So very important. She's performing from Smithton, Illinois at Mikey's Pub, all for Keep Live Alive St. Louis. Here's Alexandra Kay.
I turn my face towards the light for a little while, hoping to soak it in, thinking maybe somehow it'd ignite a fire that burned out from the constant rejection. You're good, but she's better. Just keeping on. But if it's alright, I'd like to sing you home a song about a dive bar dreamer in her dime store boot. She is a constant believer and always sticking to her roots. She spends her days writing songs that the labels don't wanna hear, and she spends her nights playing for tips and beers. And you know her well, 'cause she's standing right here. She's a dive bar dreamer, a dive bar dreamer. I tell myself that it's all gonna be alright, nothing built in a day. You knew what was coming when you chose this life. A lot of hurry up and wait, but I promise that your time is coming. Just keeping on. Until then, I'm gonna sing you all this song about a die-born dreamer in her dime-store boots. She is a constant believer and always sticking to her roots. She spends her days writing songs that the labels don't want to hear, and she spends her nights begging for tips and bills. Like the smoke in the neon lights, she'll rise. Like every glass in the air tonight, she'll rise. Rise above or down to the fence tonight, she'll rise. I will rise. I'm a dive-board dreamer in my time. Store boots, I am a constant believer and always sticking to my roots. I spend my days writing songs that the labels don't want to hear, and I spend my nights playing for tips and bills. But I'm living my dream as sure as I stand here, 'cause I'm a die-born dreamer.
I remember GYPSY at Busch Stadium in '77 with 65,000 people out front on a 106-degree day. I mean, there was amazing things going on. I remember being on stage, and of course the first thing that happened is Jim Johnson, the guitar player's amp didn't work. And you know, we were on stage playing and playing and playing. He was waiting and waiting to get this thing working, and it didn't work. And one of the guys literally just looked at what was happening. REO's gear was set up behind us, and one of the guys just really just looked at what was happening with Jim's guitar and went back to REO's gear and unplugged one of their Marshall heads and came running out to the deck and plugged Jim's guitar in through one of REO's Marshalls. We all thought that was pretty cool. Maybe we should have asked the brothers before we did that, but we didn't.
So you guys know by now that this is a telethon, a fundraiser with a mission and a purpose to help offer financial help, or let me rephrase that, financial hope for so many locally here that have been affected in the entertainment industry by the COVID-19 shutdowns.
It's a program to help all of the thousands and thousands of musicians, stagehands, theater people who have been put out of work because of COVID.
If you can help and you want to help, we've made it pretty easy. Just go to the website, keeplivealivestl.org. You'll find that little donation button right there. And friends, even if that donation is small, I promise you, it means a lot.
KeepliveAliveSTL.org.
I came to St. Louis in 1984, and down through the years, had the privilege of introducing on stage a lot of really, really big name acts. Everybody from Rush and Phil Collins to Jay Leno and Jerry Seinfeld and Sam Kinison. And the backstage people were always great to me. All of the technicians and everybody working the show always made sure I had what I needed, always made sure I looked good, and for that, I am eternally thankful. You're gonna go back to the mid-1980s, go backstage to interview and to introduce Sammy Hagar to the crowd. Sammy, what would you like me to say? And he says, just anything you want, just have fun, get the crowd pumped up. Okay, go out on stage, hold up my big tape recorder, you guys are gonna be on the radio. Okay, left side, hi Sammy, hi Sammy. Okay, right side, hi Sammy, hi Sammy. Okay, all together now, hi Sammy, hi Sammy. Place just goes nuts, little pieces of asbestos
coming down from the ceiling of the old arena, okay? I go backstage, they're waiting in the wings, Sammy Hagar waiting for me with his eyes as big as pie plates. And he just says, "What did you do? What did you do out there? What did you do?" I said, "You told me to get the crowd pumped up." So that night, I had the privilege of being on stage and bringing Sammy out, but it was you guys who blew him away.
Here locked down with you, baby. It's pretty cool, but pretty soon you're driving me crazy. Living with you in my heart, baby. I'm living with you.
When our group Younger Than Yesterday had our CD release party at the Wildy Theater in Edwardsville, Illinois, we had a sold-out house. We had a film production crew in there filming this thing because we had worked so hard on it and we wanted to make it all just perfect. So, 5 songs into the show, suddenly all the power goes out. A tornado came through town, took out the power to the entire town.
We could hear the sirens going off before we kicked off that song. And then the lights flashed off, came back on. Terrible noises came from the PA, and then it just went black.
So we all stood around. We, of course, couldn't leave because the storm was still raging outside, us nor the audience. So at one point we decided, well, what the hell, we'll just get our acoustic instruments and we'll come down on the floor right in front of the stage. So we did that and performed the entire show with only the battery lights from our film crew lighting us up.
So just played acoustically for this audience there, and everybody was nice and quiet, and it was a really, really amazing night. It turned out to be.
Baby, I'm living with you, together or apart.
There's a lot of work behind the scenes in promoting concerts. I don't care who you are in the concert industry, but it's that 5 minutes after 8 when the lights go down and the crowd stands up and starts cheering, it still sends a shiver through my body.
Can you just do it? Oh, 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 oh. Listen, yeah. Oh, listen, yeah. I said, oh, all the time.
From the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And don't forget, keep live alive, St. Louis.